Have you ever wondered what happens when gods try to live like humans? When immortals, burdened by fate and regret, trade divine power for mortal hearts? This is the story of Jiang episode 16, where love and destiny finally collide, and Jiao was worried, deeply worried, about his daughter Fan Linger. She had joined Li Qingyue's side, and rumors were swirling like wildfire to clear his name. He tried to talk to Li Qingyue with honesty and heart, but the result? He was thrown into a prison cell, branded as untrustworthy in the quiet of the night. Guilt ate away at him like slow fire. He used his last bit of spiritual power to enter his daughter's dream, hoping for forgiveness, but instead of warmth, he met cold words. Fan Linger, calm yet distant, told him the truth. She had always been on Li Qingyue's side. She revealed that her gentleness, her obedience, had all been an act, a disguise to gain by Jiusi's trust and to free Li Qingyue's spirit beast. The white snake. This plan had been brewing for 300 years, ever since she was a child. Saved by Li Qingyue from death at the edge of a cliff, that moment had changed everything. Her mother had died soon after, and her father's love turned to silence. Her heart grew lonely, wounded, and proud from that pain. A new loyalty was born, not to blood, but to her saviorso. Fan Linger turned away from family and chose her own faith to follow Li Qingyue, no matter the cost, even if it meant fading into nothingness. Even if it meant turning her back on her father forever. As the night faded, another story began to unfold. Jiang appeared, restless and broken by love since Li Qingyue's disappearance. His obsession had only deepened. He sought out Fan Linger, hoping for answers, but she, wise yet merciless, told him to let go of, she said, should never be a cage. But Jiang's love was exactly that, deep, desperate, and doomed. He couldn't escape the shadow of Li Qingyue, and with each heartbeat, he chained himself tighter to the past. Meanwhile, another disciple, Mengchu, found himself unexpectedly free. The chains that once bound him were gone, but freedom only brought confusion. He went to his master for guidance, fearing his secrets were exposed. Yet his master, Jiang, surprised him. Instead of anger, he showed understanding, even encouragement. He told Mengchu to follow his heart, even if it meant love with Qingmen. For once, Mengchu realized that destiny wasn't a prison, it was a choice. Later, as he walked outside, he saw Qingwen sweeping fallen leaves, once the pride of the sect. She now served humbly in silence. The sight humbled him. Time changes everyone. The high fall, the low rise, every soul, divine or mortal, is caught in this endless tide. But the heart of this episode still beats around one name. Li Qingyue. Her disappearance haunted everyone. Jiang demanded answers, but Fan Linger kept silent until she finally warned him. By Jiusi's every opportunity, every blessing, might also be the moment Li Qingyue would try to kill him. That single line left Jiang trembling. Because how do you love someone who might be destined to destroy you? Elsewhere, Wang Yuan began his own dangerous game. He gathered warriors, built secret formations, and sought by Jiusi's trail in his search for safety. He awakened a storm across realms. Power, loyalty, and fate, all twisted together like a deadly weapon. Where were by Jiusi and Li Qingyue during all this chaos? Living quietly, side by side, in a mortal home at least. On the surface, they were close enough to touch, yet miles apart in spirit. Li Qingyue treated him with cold distance, while by Jiusi longed to mend the rift. Their past weighed on them, old betrayals, unspoken pain. When they spoke about the drought dragon they once fought, the air turned heavy. The dragon had been a survivor, a victim of human greed and destruction to by Jiusi. It was a reminder of the balance between cause and effect to Li Qingyue. It was proof that her choices, no matter how cruel, were justified. And so, in one rare moment of agreement, Li Qingyue proposed a pact. They would both seal their powers for 10 years. For 10 years, they would live as mortals. No magic, no divine escape, only the simple life. If either of them used their power, the backlash would destroy them both. By Jiusi smiled for the first time in ages. He agreed, and even suggested they live as husband and wife. Thus began their new chapter, not in the heavens, but on earth. With his wit and wisdom, Bai Jiusi quickly adapted. He earned silver, built a cozy home, and even made friends with a cheerful neighbor, Lin Fan, the same man who, by fate's cruel joke, had once been Li Qingyue's mortal groom. Life seemed peaceful. Li Qingyue went to the market, smiling as she bought vegetables and herbs. She cooked a fine meal, fragrant and warm. Bai Jiusi was thrilled. Maybe, just maybe, she was softening, but when he sat down to eat, he realized she'd only made one portion for herself. For Bai Jiusi could only laugh in disbelief. So off he went to a tavern. Hungry and humiliated there, he met Lin Fan again over drinks. Lin Fan offered heartfelt advice: how to win a woman's heart, how to live with love and patience. Bai Jiusi listened. Inspired and full of hope, he returned home ready to try again. He offered Li Qingyue her favorite dishes, gentle words, kind smiles, but she quietly pushed the food aside one by one. She removed every piece he offered, leaving his heart as empty as his plate. And yet, in this quiet domestic war, something had changed for the first time. Both of them were truly living not as gods, not as enemies, but as two souls trapped in the same fragile world. Fire of divine love had cooled into the soft ache of human life, and in that stillness, destiny began to shift again, because behind this fragile peace, the next storm was already gathering. The story of Li Qingyue and Bai Jiusi was far from over. So, what happens when mortals play with the power of gods? When love becomes both weapon and wound? Stay tuned, because the next chapter will test not just their hearts, but the meaning of fate itself.